In today's lecture, we will be discussing the poem Windrush Child. Now, there is a background to this poem, which is that Windrush Day takes place on the 22nd of June, in which we remember when 500 migrants from the Caribbean they had arrived at the Tilbury docks in Essex in 1948. There were 500 immigrants who had arrived from the Caribbean into England on the 22nd of June 1948. Why was this happening? This was happening because Britain was starting to now recover from World War II. Thousands of buildings had been bombed, lots of houses had been destroyed because of the World War II, and all of it needed to be rebuilt. So when these 500 immigrants came, some of them were young men, some of them were young women. They had already served in the British Army, right? And these people were under the British rule. Britain rules even till today. It is ruling 16 countries. Okay, so this Caribbean was also under the rule of the British and was not independent. Today it is independent, but back then in 1940s, it was not independent. After the war, some of these people came on an advertisement. There was a job offer for these people that if they come to Britain, they will get lots of different jobs and they will get a better salary, better lifestyle. And so they were invited to Britain. But when they came to Britain, um, they were cheated. Okay, they were not given the lifestyle that they were promised. These people, these immigrants had to face racism. They were discriminated because they were a working class, they were from a working class. People in Britain were richer, these people were not. So it was not easy for these new arrivals to get jobs. Some companies also said that they didn't want black people to work for them. Caribbeans basically come from the area where there are a lot of dark skinned people, and people in England are uh, they're really white, they're really fair in complexion. So these people, they were invited, but they had to face a lot of racism. They had to face a lot of class discrimination. When their children went to study at school, these their children were bullied because of the color of their skins. Some of them suffered racial attacks also. And in later years, there were riots in cities across Britain. They were attacked just because of the color of their skin. And because of this, later on, years later, there were riots. Riots means that there were fights all over the city in public area. This is the background of the poem, right? This tells you the background and the history of this poem. Now let's come to the actual poem. This poem is written by John Agard. You have to remember the name of the poem and the name of the poet. In this poem, John is addressing a young boy who is a teenager who has come from the Caribbeans to the England, and here he is talking to him and discussing his feelings. Okay. Now, let's come to the first three lines. Behind you, Windrush child, palm trees are waving goodbye. Because the Caribbean is a tropical country, there is a lot of heat and sunlight. So he says that behind you, there are palm trees. Palm trees are date trees who are saying goodbye to you. Above you, the Windrush child. Windrush child is the teenager that he's talking about. Above you, Windrush child, seabirds are asking why. They are asking, why are you leaving them? Around you, Windrush child, blue water is rolling by. Because this boy is on a ship. The name of this ship is Windrush, on which he's traveling. Beside you, Windrush child, your Windrush mom and dad. Now he says that in the fourth stanza, he says that you are traveling with your parents on a ship. The poet then asks the child to think of story time and bright mango mornings. Mango morning means when the sun was shining bright like the color of mango. Now he asks the boy, "Okay, do you think that things will turn out right?" He says, "Okay, you are going to another country to start a new life. Do you think you will lead a good life there? At least the ship will arrive in midsummer light. And you, Windrush child, think of grandmother telling you don't forget to write." Then the poet asks the child, उसको कहता है कि भाई, you think, remember your grandmother and how she told you to keep writing to you, because grandma is in the Caribbean and he along with his family has left to go to England. So he says कि he reminds the boy to think about his grandmother who is waiting for him to who is waiting for his letters, who will wait for his letters every week and every month to read and to reply. And with one last hug, walk good, and the sea's wheels carries on spinning. And he says, remember how you hugged your mother, grandmother for the last time. And now you are on the ship, and its wheels are carrying and they are spinning and they are taking you away from your grandmother. And from that place, England, you tell her in a letter of your Windrush adventure. Then the poet says कि once you reach England, एक दफा पहुंच गए, write a letter to your grandmother and tell her about your journey on the Windrush ship. ठीक है, उसको कहता है कि जब आप पहुंच जाए, write a letter and tell your mother how much, tell your grandmother how much fun you had on the Windrush ship. Stepping in a big ship, not knowing how long the journey, or that you are stepping into history. He says कि you had no idea when you were stepping onto the ship. जब आप ship पे चढ़ रहे थे, you had no idea that how long the journey will be. Maybe it would be a 2 day journey, maybe a 5 day journey. He says you had no idea. या आपको ये भी नहीं पता था that you are stepping into history, because this is one of the most important events in the history. So he says that you are becoming a part of the most historic event of the history and you didn't even know it yet. Bringing your Caribbean eye to another horizon, grandmother's words, your shining beacon. He says that now you are bringing your Caribbean eye, meaning your mindset, your thoughts, your vision to another horizon, to another country. With grandma's words, your shining beacon means आप grandma की advices, उनके words, they are your biggest support and your biggest guide. Learning how to fly the kite of your dreams in an English sky. Then the poet says that this boy, this child will now learn how to fulfill his dreams, how to achieve his agendas, how to achieve his goals in an English country. Windrush child walking good in a mind opening meeting of snow and sun. Now he says that this boy is now, uh, metaphorically, he's trying to explain how the sun and the snow are getting together, because England by nature is a very cold country. There's not a lot of sunshine year round. It snows a lot. It's a very cold country. And the boy, he's the his homeland, जहाँ वो Caribbean से आ रहा है, it is a very sunny country. There are not a lot of harsh winter days. Mostly it is very sunny and very hot. So these two completely opposite countries are now becoming a part of this boy's journey, how he's traveling from the sunny Caribbeans to the very snowy and dull England. And that right here is our lecture for today.